Good afternoon, everyone. I am Adam Smith, Scottish economist and philosopher. We are gathered here today to honor and celebrate the life of Immanuel Kant. He was loved by many, including his family and friends and members of the Königsberg community. Kant and I always used to bond over our similar childhoods and university experiences. Immanuel dedicated decades of service to the University of Königsberg as a student and a teacher. I personally always have admired Kant for his unique take on the world. As a professor, he always left his students questioning how we view the world around us. He always wanted his students to challenge their minds. One of Immanuel's biggest accomplishments was writing the book The Critique of Pure Reason, where he tries to determine the limits and scope of pure reason through analyzing the properties of metaphysics.
Hello, my name is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I am very pleased to say that Kant was a great thinker and writer. Much of his work complemented mine, such as his Metaphysics of Morals. His Metaphysics of Morals was able to answer some of the questions that I left up to the reader in my discourse on inequality. I have come to believe that Kant was influenced by much of my writing, and because of this, I am proud. For a writer and a philosopher like Kant to draw on my work is an honor. Kant, like me, was interested in the subjectivity of man. He and I both took the time to reflect on what we felt were man's natural impulses in the modern world. Kant absolutely left a lasting influence on this world. He has shifted the way that I view man in general, as well as my own place in this world. He has shifted the way that I view the world based on my relationships. Immanuel Kant has prompted me to think about my own desires and actions. Immanuel Kant will be missed dearly by his loved ones and by the people that he influenced, which is a lot. And I have no doubt, though, that his legacy will live on forever.
Good afternoon. My name is Olympia Gauge, and I am honored to be part of this celebration of life. Today, we gather to celebrate the legacy of Immanuel Kant. While I did not personally know him, his works have hardly gone unnoticed. I cannot say that I participated in his line of thinking, but I can say that it will be missed. One particular thought of his, from groundworks of the metaphysics of moral ethics, returns to me as I reflect on my life and my work in French activism and the perception of women in government. A good will is not good because of what it affects, or accomplishes, not because of its fitness to attain some intended end, but good just by its willing, that is, in itself, and considered by itself, it is to be esteemed beyond compare much higher than anything that could ever be brought about by it in favor of some inclinations, and indeed, if you will, the sum of all inclinations. Even if by some particular disfavor of fate, or by the scanty endowment of a stepmotherly nature, this will should entirely lack the capacity to carry through its purpose, if despite its greatest striving it should still accomplish nothing, and only the good will were to remain, not, of course, as a mere wish, but as the summoning of all means that are within our control, then, like a jewel, it would still shine by itself, as something that has full worth in itself. There were greater before, and there will be greater after. But Immanuel Kant was good. He has left us with so much to think about and on which to reflect. Not only that, but he has left us with his goodness with which he wrote his words. Our lives, shaped by our actions, have the potential to be good, whether we leave behind all we expect to or not.
In the words of Immanuel Kant, from his Critique of Pure Reason, all our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Like me, Kant had a vision for a social order founded on reason and education, and ultimately sought empowerment for every human. That being said, Immanuel was a kindred spirit, and a great loss will be felt by myself and many others, including his students and colleagues. But his legacy will live on with us, and if we take a moment to stop and listen, we will hear him teaching here today in this very room.
Immanuel Kant and I believed in many of the same things. We believed that all people chose their own paths and fate, We believe that education is an essential virtue, as well as many other things. But most of all, Immanuel Kant was a fellow philosopher. Ever since he created his first work, Thoughts on the True Estimation of Living Forces, in 1747, arguing that metaphysics methods can prove the existence of essential force, he became one of the most influential people of the Enlightenment period. Immanuel Kant will be dearly missed.